Ever wondered what makes TV so powerful in Jamaica? Time to find out. Welcome to Global TV Group 358, where television meets innovation. We're not just about shows, we're about shaping society. In Jamaica, TV keeps you informed, connects diverse voices, and supports democracy. Imagine a Jamaica where broadcasters unite, sharing data and collaborating globally. That's us, a unified voice in the TV industry. Did you know TV advertising is still king? It drives website traffic, boosts brand equity, and powers integrated campaigns. Even in an age of digital, TV stands strong, resilient in tough times. Our global TV deck is your treasure trove of insights and data. With charts, graphs, and success stories, it's your guide to impactful TV advertising. Curious to learn more? Visit our website and see how Global TV Group 358 keeps television at the heart of entertainment in Jamaica. Get ready to binge watch the future.
We in Global TV say certain kind of friend we no keep, and some informer friend we lovely. We in Global, bona fake friend and bona tape. We in Global, we not promote them, we not support them. Look at them on the cheek, come here represent for. We in Global TV, check it.
Good morning, and welcome to Global TV. It is Sunday, the 30th of March. It is officially British Daylight Saving Time, which means I'm an hour ahead of you. So, you know, me and my dunsters, I have to do a bit of tweaking and twining, especially with the morning show to keep you on your normal Eastern timing that you are used to. It is also Mother's Day on this side of the pond as well. Happy Mother's Day to all my globalists and to all the women around the world. Happy Mother's Day to you all this morning. To my community of party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, viewers, subscribers, commenters, and trolls. Good morning and welcome. TikTok, good morning. YouTube, good morning to everyone and welcome. Thank you for joining us. It kind of is normal to say the Jamaica Labour Party regularly relies on telling lies. The Prime Minister, you can almost call him a propagandist rather than a Prime Minister. Because especially with this whole constitutional brouhaha when it comes to Portmore, I don't know why the government is lying, but call members of the Jamaica Labour Party. Because it's not us, the people of Jamaica in general, that Alonzo Terrelong is lying to. Thank you, Hugh Richards. Sorry, my man has been advised to me individual good morning, but I don't know how it goes sometime and all the time when I get an individual good morning, but everybody, welcome, good morning. It is not us, the people of Jamaica, that Alonzo Terrelong is lying to. Alonzo Terrelong is lying to and misleading members of the Jamaica Labour Party. Because only them will believe Alonzo Terrelong argument. Now, from my understanding, the People's National Party wasn't in objection to Portmore becoming a parish. What they are in objection to is issue with the elected mayoralty, as well as the major issue which the court ruled on was the boundary issue, the gerrymandering issue of the government. That is what we had a final ruling on, Alonzo Terrelong. The court says, and even before the court says it, the ECJ gave that advice. The Constitution, Section 67, is not being complied with. It is the same thing that the court is saying. It's what the People's National Party went to court in objection to. How is it then that Minister Terrelong is coming out to tell everybody that the ruling was a success for the people of Portmore and the government? It's success for the people of Portmore who was in objection to what the government was doing. But to say, Alonzo Terrelong, it is a success for the government, you're misleading or deliberately lying to members of the Jamaica Labour Party because you're not lying to us. We can't read. And Mr. Terrelong, or is it Miss Terrelong rather? Terrelong Bailey. Miss Terrelong is not as dunce as she sounds. In the educational qualification of framework of things, Terrelong is quite bright as per the education qualification framework. He did a bachelor's of law at the University of the West Indies. He did his legal practice at Edna Manley. He did a master's degree at Warwick University in the United Kingdom in international relations, international criminal law, international human rights, and all of those. So in the educational qualification framework of things, Lady Terrelong is quite a bright person, not as dunce as she sounds, or not as dunce as she's making it out to members of the Jamaica Labour Party in order to deceive them. Because certainly, Terrelong, you're not deceiving us. Why does government continue with these whole heap of lies and misleading narrative? This only happens in a dictatorship where the government tell you, say, no, that's wrong. This is what you must believe. Let us listen to both sides of the story because both PNP and JLP are claiming winnings. We're going to listen to both of them, but I'm going to play you a video separately after of Orlando Terrelong that the Prime Minister is promoting on his page, Andrew Holness. You on the propaganda, the misinformation, and the deliberate lies, Andrew Holness. How no fi claim victory? Power. Wanna win? At the Jamaica Labour Party, una fool, you know. It's the Jamaica Labour Party that has been misled by Orlando Terrelong and Andrew Holness, because Andrew Holness is promoting the bullshit on his social media page. Why can't this government not accept defeat? Everybody knows that you're unconstitutional, Andrew. It's from you've been in opposition, you've never complied with the Constitution and new. So you shouldn't shame. It's what was expected. You were advised of it before you even make the plunder. You done Marlene. You never got school, made it on your back, Marlene Malahoo Ford. You are the Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs. The violation or the contravention of Section 67 of the Constitution, Marlene Malahoo Ford, should have never passed you, Delroy Chuck or Derek Mackay. You see how no dunce? You see how no willfully dunce because I know buck up and dunce, you know. I know just dunce because they tap on road play marble. I know dunce because rather than go to school, then tap a trouble mass APB's hive. I know that dunce there. This is willful dunceness been played to mislead you, the dunce, JLP. Not anybody else. Take care of them now fool. Oh no, them now fool we. It's willful dunceness been played at your JLP. If the court has stopped you in your tracks, how is it that you not come out and claim winnings? As Derek Morgan would say, what can go so? Let's just listen to both sides of the story. Then we play the one the Prime Minister is promoted.
As a result of a food order today, the government cannot proceed to establish Portmore as a parish until the procedure prescribed in Section 67 of the Constitution has been complied with, and an order is made under Section 67 of the Constitution. We are also mindful that the EOJ has formally advised the Parliament and the government that the required exercise to make the proposed boundaries comply with the Constitution will take over 1 year. The People's National Party is indeed pleased with this ruling, which underscores the obligation of the JLP government to respect our Constitution and the rule of law. This represents a block to the attempted gerrymandering of the constituency boundaries of Portmore by the JLP government ahead of the general elections due in 6 months. It is important to also note that there are a number of other constitutional breaches in our claim before the court that will be dealt with shortly. This includes the removal of the elected office of the Mayor of Portmore, among others, by the Act. It is also very important that persons, including members of Parliament, who make comments about the role of the court regarding legislations by the Parliament, familiarize themselves with the Constitution, particularly Sections 2 and 48. These provisions explicitly authorize the court to strike any laws that are in breach of the Constitution and its supremacy. This is certainly not provisions that persons with autocratic dispositions are comfortable with.
Yes, it is.
Right. That was a fitting in line with the court ruling. That was a fitting response from Fitz Jackson in line with the court ruling. Let us now listen to a Lady Terry Long.
A win for the people of Portmore. It is green light for Portmore to becoming the 15th parish for Jamaica. I mean, we've always maintained that the application brought by the People's National Party was premature. It comes from a place of them being so hungry for power and not wanting the people of Portmore to experience the kind of growth and development and the autonomy, that kind of identity that comes with being a parish. And it's shameful on their part. And so the government has always maintained that it is acting in accordance with the Constitution, that there is a process that will be followed, and having passed.
Now, Mr. Terry Long is a practicing attorney. I don't know if you're aware of that. When you study law in any country, you study law based on the constitutional framework of that country. If you're studying law in America, the basis of your study always lead back to the Constitution. It's the authority of the law. Here, when I study the law, I have to go back to Parliament. Parliament is the authority of the law here. In Jamaica, we have a constitution. The Constitution is the authority of the law. Not all of them are great constitutional scholars like Isaac Buchanan and others. But you have to have a good understanding of constitutional law and have passed your constitutional law exam in order to go forward, because you have to pass your constitutional and contract law and legal systems and judicial reasoning, those areas of law. If you don't pass them, Mr. Terry Long, you can't even go forward to second year. You have to pass those to go to second year. So Mr. Terry Long, in all his splattery and blattery, does have an understanding of the Constitution. He also have an understanding of how Section 67 of the Constitution ought to be applied and interpreted. But he's misleading members of the Jamaica Labour Party, because he ain't misleading us. He's lying deliberately to members of the Jamaica Labour Party, because he's not lying to us, because we know better. Me and Terry Long are the same school. What does he know that I possibly don't know is probably know how to thief and kill someone without a break-in and entry.
Pass the act in Parliament, then there's a second part of the process, and that is under Section 67 of the Constitution, where there's a committee of the House of Parliament is to meet, and also for the ECJ to carry out its functions as it relates to constituency boundaries. Because the Parliament was concerned in the past of the Act with creating a parish, and we've always maintained that. And so I believe that this is a good day once more for the people of Portmore, knowing that, yes, it is green light to proceed with the process for Portmore to become the 15th parish.
This is such willful lying, because the People's National Party, as far as I'm concerned, is not in a position to Portmore becoming a parish. They're in a position to the boundaries. That's what they went to court on. That's what they won on. That's what the ECJ advised on, Orlando Terry Long. But listen to the propaganda that the Prime Minister is advancing, because the Prime Minister had this on his Facebook page. So it is what the Prime Minister is asking you, the people, to believe. Allow me.
Portmore family, quick update in the court case. Major win for you, the people of Portmore, and a major win for the government. Today, the court has said no more injunction brought by the opposition to stop the process of Portmore becoming a parish. So I have always maintained that the government is acting in accordance with the Constitution, and that the application by the PMP was just premature and but another desperate attempt for them to stop the process of Portmore becoming a parish, because they are completely power hungry. So the government will continue with the process in keeping with the Constitution, and of course we look forward to the day when Portmore will become Jamaica's 15th.
How do I explain this fool now this morning? How do I explain him? Your lie to the people is that the People's National Party is trying to prevent Portmore from becoming a parish. That's a lie. That's not what they're acting against. They're acting against the boundaries. What you all are explaining here is that we create the law and then we will fix the boundary afterward. No, that's not how you create the law. The boundaries is created within the law as well, isn't it? And you create a boundary in the law that the ECJ and the People's National Party did not accept. That's why they advised you against it. That's why the People's National Party went to court. That's what they won on. How is it that the Prime Minister and Orlando Terrylang could be promoting such blatant lies in public that the court ruling was a win for the government because the court said the PNP must not bring any more injunction to block Portmore from becoming a parish? That's not what they're trying to block. And given Orlando Terrylang, this is a final ruling, and the court throw the ball back in your court and say, until Orlando Deep Throat Terrylang, until you comply with Section 67, which you have violated, dear dunce, willful dunceness, in order to mislead the mass of dunce labor rights come here, we follow now. Because a dunce labor right here mislead. You're not misleading anybody else out here. The PNP don't need to bring back another ruling, another injunction to the court, you daffodil dunce, because the court says you, Mr. Want a seat, Mr. Want to politically shore up yourself. I wonder how much you pay Desmond McKenzie, whether be on your back or on your knees, in order to fix you up for your stay in tune. How you done so? And then on the walk with these big old qualifications for pound of back. That's why I tell people say, qualification no cut it. Qualification don't cut it if you're corrupt. Qualification no cut it if you don't have common sense. Qualification no cut it if you're a turnaround and a bend over. Qualification no cut it. Look pan Audrey Marks. Look pan Gogo Gaga. Look pan Faval Williams. Qualification no cut it. So they use qualification fool, you know, because they have all these big upsideers and that. Don't make them use a fool, you know. The Prime Minister is a fool and a liar. The Prime Minister willfully lies and mislead the nation. And we're going to go straight over to Senator Crawford. Let Senator Crawford tell us about the many different and the type of lies of Andrew Holness. Because Andrew Holness budget. Why is this thing playing here?
We're going to be good stewards there, right? All right, Senator Crawford.
Hold on, my peeps. Yes, that's the screen I want. Let's listen to Senator Crawford's presentation. And Senator Crawford's presentation is a response to under 5 hours of tirade. Dean, how you do? It's a response to Andrew Holness's 5 hours of tirade in the parliament. So let's listen to Senator Crawford respond, because Senator Crawford really break down Andrew Holness and fix him business for him.
President, that I would love to have up. Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity to present today. I'm getting to the age that I have to choose the glasses that's most appropriate. But it is what it is. Mr. President, or the mics? You want everybody to hear me? All right, thank you. Mr. President, I am so happy to see our children here from Dalton James and also from our university, the Karamak students that are present. I'm happy because the class is about to begin. Mr. President, I title this conversation Truth and Democracy. Because, Mr. President, the government's debate has been shrouded in lies and fake news. What I'd like for the takeaway today, the takeaway project, I hope my teacher will oblige, is that after this presentation, when they go back to school next week, they should write an essay on the types of lies that were stated in the presentations. There are indeed different types of lies. There's a stretch of the truth to make something sound bigger or better. That is called an exaggeration. There's omission, leaving out information, important information, so as to mislead. There's also refusing to...
While listening to Senator Crawford for yourself, I hope his different outline of lies, you can decide for yourself which of those type of lies did Orlando Terrelong told to us or to JLP supporters, because JLP supporters them not talk to. Them not talk to well-thinking people. Could never do.
To admit the truth, even when confronted with evidence. That's called denial. There's fabrication, making up completely false information. Misleading statements, which is statements with the intent to deceive. Blame shifting, lying to avoid responsibility by blaming others. And gaslighting, manipulating someone to doubt their memory or perception. I hope that as of Monday, you can use any of these analyses to tell what types of lies are being told to you or have been told in this entire budgetary process. Mr. President, it is upon us that we are called not just to know the truth, but to stand for it. As children of light, we must mash down lies wherever they rise. For what fellowship hath light with darkness? Indeed, they said love and hate can never be friends. Mr. President, the JLP's entire communication is dependent on one statement that the Prime Minister made, and I quote, he said, there are several generations of young people who do not know our modern history. There are generations of middle-aged and older people who have forgotten. The JLP is dependent on the youth who might not have known and the older individuals who might have forgotten. Indeed, Mr. President, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And the JLP has the heart to mislead, the heart to deceive, the heart to misinform, the heart to misrepresent, the heart to hoodwink, and the heart to hold to power at any cost. I'm sad that a friend of mine is leaving because that heart has been exhibiting itself on their platforms. Persons who are friends of mine, my mother asks me sometimes, how do you choose your friends? Have been calling my name in the most way on radio and on the platform. I said, Delano Seabright, Senator Seabright, a friend as well. And by the way, Senator Seabright is the one who started the rumor about shelling down London with Jamaica money. Can you believe that? I was in London presenting an academic paper. They wouldn't understand that because they're not academics. Paid for by the conference. And a friend of mine started a rumor that I was there shelling down England. But I forgave him.
Of course, because you're a forgiving.
Because when his trouble came across my decks in his early times, I could have taken revenge. Because the truth was worse than the lies. But power don't lie in anger. It lies in knowing you could have done it and not doing it. Their mouths, Mr. Speaker, have revealed what their masks have tried to hide. No matter how well you pretend, your words will tell the truth about you. The first set of lies that would have been established would have been along the lines of inflation. And in this case, there is students, I want you to look, there's a line there called total inflation, which is the addition of all the years of inflation. It was put there to indicate that there was a period of PMP governance that had such a large level of inflation that it was 2,249. They failed to acknowledge this was the longest term that any government has ever served. And so therefore, over 18 years, they sought to compare with 4 years. And therefore, the accumulated level of total inflation was an unnecessary segment in this table. The average annual inflation speaks, where it speaks to 18.
Sorry. All right. Just hold a second. Hold a second for me, please. Senator Brown, all right, have a seat. Have a seat. All right. All right. I know where it's going. So the standing order says that whilst a person is presenting and speaking, that he should be heard in silence. All right. So, Senator Morgan, we appreciate it, the bantering that goes across at times, but we have, yes. All right. All right. So continue.
I don't mind, but I appreciate Senator Brown because you're setting a good example for my little children who are here today. So, we're going to set that example. The Prime Minister made heavy weather of this 2000, not indicating the period of time, and sought to also compare Jamaica's reality with the United States reality. Before I indicate the reasons why this is not an adequate comparison, even the numbers that they have presented suggest that there are multiple times that the JLP was worse than the PMP. Now look at February 1989 to September 2007. This is the exact presentation from Mr. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, Dr. Andrew Holness. If you look at the 89 to 2007, 18 and a half years that the PMP was in power, the average annual inflation was 18.5%. In the United States, for which he was seeking to make heavy weather, it was 2.9%. That's almost 6.3 times what existed in the United States. But he failed to have done sufficient analysis to recognize that in September 2007 to December 2011, which was the JLP, they were at 12.3% in relative to the United States, 1.5%. That's 8.2 times what was in the United States. So therefore, if it is that relativity was supposed to be used, the JLP in 2007 to 2011 was 8.2 times inflation in the United States. However, the PMP was 6 times inflation in the United States. However, for the knowledge of our students, I'd like them to know that even that was a false analysis. There was no real basis to utilize the United States in comparison with Jamaica. An appropriate comparison would have been other Caribbean islands, because the United States don't have the same realities that we face. But there's even more information in the slides that the Prime Minister presented. In the slides that the Prime Minister presented, it proved that he had the worst performance since he got the baton. Indeed, in 2002, 2007, the inflation was 18.5% on average. The Bruce Golding government received the baton and reduced it by 6.2 percentage points and carried it down to 12.3%. The Portia Simpson Miller government got it and reduced it by 6 percentage points and carried it down to 6.3%. Andrew Holness got it and carried down to 5.5, a reduction of less than 1 percentage point. So he's making a big deal about look how me fast when it's just that he got a good batter. Prime Minister Bruce Golding reduced it by 6 percentage points. Prime Minister Portia Simpson reduced it by a further 6 percentage points. Yet they tried to convince us that the best Prime Minister we have ever seen reduced it by less than 1 percentage points. I had to ensure that a picture like this exists, but Holness has done the least. That's a KC man winning that race so beautifully, as we will later today. And Calabar is already at 4th or 5th or something like that. My friend, they're way around the corner. But I think they're coming behind even Edith Dalton today. Edith Dalton will beat them. So with the baton, he has done the least. He has also...
I pause here to tell you how vindictive the radio station across the road, you know, the vloggers across the road there, how they are. You remember the People's National Party had a press conference on Wednesday when the question was asked to Mark Golden, I think by Siobhan Campbell, about the spending issue. Before Mr. Golden responded, Damien said, "We're late, but we reach." That was said on Wednesday. Whole of Wednesday gone. Whole of Thursday gone. Was it Thursday or Friday Damien made his speech in the Senate? Friday, isn't it? Wednesday evening gone. Thursday go by. When Damien was on his feet in the Senate, Cliff put out an article. You know what the headline was? "We're late, but we reach." This is how vindictive and petulant Cliff is, because him know Damien is in the Senate whopping them. And that was the best time Cliff Hughes think he can put out a headline to downplay Damien Crawford excellent speech. Wanna see how over they go on?
Thought to prove misleading historical comparison. Prime Minister attempt to vilify the PMP by highlighting average inflation from 1989 to 2007. He, however, fails to highlight the global economic context, including oil price shocks, trade liberalization mandates, structural adjustment from the IMF. And they also fail to acknowledge that food inflation, which is the level of inflation affecting the majority of people, is at 7.4%. This highlights a persistent and significant burden on household budgets, especially for low and middle income Jamaicans, even while headline inflation remained within the BOJ target. Indeed, in our parliament, in this Senate, I have made 3 presentations asking for a targeting of food inflation as well as a targeting of overall inflation. Because there are times that the overall inflation disguises the suffering of the average individual who don't spend on the entire basket that exists. They have never indicated that. So the food inflation is outside the target levels of inflation. Therefore, a large proportion of our society whose income is directed mainly to consumption of food is not being addressed by what is being posited by the inflation rate. The next level of lies that we're told would have been debt to GDP. This graph that I'm showing here is the exact same graph that was presented by Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. I'll give him the doctor until I hear further information. But Prime Minister Doctor, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Now let us look at the realities. The president, they seek to sell this argument that the JLP are the great debt managers and the PMP is loose with the management of debt. They seek to sell that argument. Well, we have not bought that argument. Let's go to the other slide. Let's look at the debt to GDP. Every time you come and say you need to check, you don't check. Check and come back, man. In 1962, the PMP handed the baton to the JLP. It's important for students to know that self-governance and independence are two different things. That before independence, we were governing ourselves and both the PMP and the JLP existed. The PMP handed over the baton in 1962 at 20% debt to GDP. 20%. At the end of the JLP's first term, Bustamante term, and I think you shared that term. Sangster got a piece of it. So now I give it because it's not so good. It moved to double 40%. So therefore, these great debt managers' debt in that period moved from where they got it at 20% to 40%. We then, if you wake up and think you know more economics than me, go back to sleep.
Call the labor rights them. Can me explain to them then FinSac pregnancy where they have what FinSac mean. I me tell them all the while. FinSac was a response to SIAGA deregulation which crushes the financial economy. Call the PNP them academia and I go explain it for them. The labor rights them I mean. Call the labor rights them because they may not go explain FinSac for them, which they clearly don't understand, or because JLP leader like Andrew Holness and the rest regularly mislead them about why FinSac was created and what FinSac means and what FinSac was a response to.
And then inflation moved, debt to GDP ratio moved to 80%. So Michael Manley got the button in 1972 at 40%. And it moved up as well to 80%. However, the Seattle got the button in 1980.
The financial whiz.
The financial whiz.
I wonder where it went.
It moved to 212%. That green line in the middle, the highest it has ever been, was under the Jamaica Labour Party, under the quote-unquote financial whiz. And forgot that he had a duty. And when the PMP got it, now what I have done here is to be truthful and fair. I have not, listen. No, I will give him a class later. Because I like when my friends are at the same level. It's not possibly too late. But what happened here is that I have given with fairness. Because the election was before the 6th month, I have given 1990 to the People's National Party. 1989 to the People's National Party. But when the PMP actually got government, it was 260%. But we're going to work with 212. Quite bad enough, we don't forget nothing more. And now if we exaggerate. When the PMP got it, Mr. President, this government of the 18 years that they claim was poor in management and was debt-free, what I mean actually ballooned the debt. The truth is it dropped from 212 to 113%. How then have they been able to sell this lie that they are the fiscal party? And it's not finishing. Because when they bamboozled the people in 2007, and it went over to Bruce Golding, it then went up again to 134%. So what happens? No, and most time I don't like speak to Bruce Golding in the parliament because my good friend is across the room. And his daughter, and there's relationship. And I respect that, I really do. And I rate Bruce Golding, I'm telling you the truth. No, I rate him. One of the brightest politicians I have seen. But the facts matters that with all things considered, it moved from 113% and increased under the JLP. Every single time that they have gotten it, there's an increase. The people found their way. And by the way, in that time, failed IMF tests. In that time, could not sit. I don't want to follow that example. Didn't show up for the test. Yes, exam all the time. And when the PNP got it, it reduced to 124.5. This is the party that they're saying don't have no fiscal discipline. The facts. No, the presentation not done. Just wait, no man. I'm still at primary school. I'm carried to high school after and then college. It soon come. The only time that the JLP has reduced what they have gotten from the PMP is this time. And it is because any law-abiding government would follow the fiscal rules that were set by the People's National Party. Any law-abiding individual who was Prime Minister or Minister of Finance now would have carried out the same exact trajectory that we have agreed to under the fiscal policy rules. But and have answer for me after? All right, good. All right, you will deal with it. Cool. In 1962, leave it. All right, cool. Because today a big day, a record we broken. The JLP got it in 1962 at 20%. They doubled it. That's not excellent management. The PMP got it at 40%. It increased. Not excellent management based on the proxy of management. Is a rising debt to GDP is a proxy of management. That is what they have put forward. The JLP got it in 1980 and carried it from 80% to 212%. And then to 260% and giving over the button. If I was at Champs, I would have nobody run. Sometimes everybody say, yo, I'm not run here, man. But because of our confidence and commitment, we ran as fast as we could. Now, a government that took the debt to GDP down by 100% reduction. I think you can't get 100% reduction. That would be incorrect. 100% reduction would be zero. So therefore, it is a 50% reduction. The increase would be the 100, but the reduction is 50. I have to make sure the kids understand. Therefore, you take it down by 100 percentage points. From 212 to 113. That is the government they're trying to sell as being a bad government and debt unconscious. After that, they got it and carried up again. They did not find their way. In our lifetime, Because we now compare long-time Brazil, you know, to Argentina. It's now Brazil to now Argentina. This group of individuals here, I was present, you were present, most of us were present in 2011. You were here, yes. Most of them over there were here. Yes. They were in the shadows. They were in the shadows. At that time, Dana was our party. We was PMP that time. They took it from 113 to, he was feeding at the trough, 134. So therefore, this argument of debt, mismanagement, and non-fiscal, the numbers don't show that. Unquote. Same fiscal rules that he's claiming to be father, godfather, or grandfather of.
Yes.
He suggested that we sold
We have a
the
name for
country
that in Jamaica.
to the IMF.
We have a name for that in
Yes, your failure, not taking the IMF test preceded it.
Yeah.
Ready again? If it is, I'm not giving that one. That one is exaggeration. Give me another one. Exaggeration. I'm not going to exaggeration. They're claiming paternity.
We have a name for it.
They're claiming paternity for Jamaica's fiscal turnaround. And they say that the period 2007 to 2011 is proof of that paternity. First of all, let us acknowledge that not even with style is safe. Remember last year in this house, I come and say, I have the paternity and Andrew's not the father. The man take the style. They take the plans. They take the ideas and the style.
I'll just quote then thief to because me say Andrew and Nesta Morgan come a parliament just similar to Mark Golden and was it Julian? No, Miguel Phillips. Just like Mark Golden and Miguel Phillips. So I'll just quote them thief.
And then over promote the style and say that he's a good communicator. Irate me, man, irate me. But let us look in divorce court. What happened in 2007 to 2011? The IMF suspended disbursement to Jamaica in 2011. The IMF refused to give them anything more. It says during the JLP administration led by Bruce Golding, the IMF suspended disbursement. Let's go into details. February 2010, Jamaica entered a 27-month standby agreement with the IMF. What happened before February 2010? In 2007, the United States financial meltdown. Audley Shaw, the then Minister of Finance, 2008,
Yes.
said that Jamaica will benefit.
Yes.
Don't forget also that Andrew Holness was a senior member of that cabinet.
Is Bruce that
So
correct?
while Audley Shaw was the one speaking, he was speaking on behalf of the entire Jamaica Labour Party cabinet. It's like our here on the platform, my friend Senator Steve Wright said, Senator Crawford, I know him like to talk. Like on a talking business winner. It's like saying boat like to run. Man in a running business. He said they're going to raise the tax, and if he said it, then that is the PNP. That I can't listen to him now. But he don't want to tell you
Our friends,
that Minister Delroy Chuck said I'm going to legalize Obia. Is that what the JLP going to do? Him going about how he said. They were speaking on behalf of Andrew Holness. And when they ignored that financial crisis and the negative started to pile up, they went back to the IMF in 2010. By January 2011, less than a year, the program had gone off track. What were the reasons? Slippage in meeting fiscal targets, the one that we set and meet every time in 2011 to 2016. They're saying that we are less fiscally responsible when the evidence said we met all our fiscal targets than those who did not?
What can go so?
What can go so? And then it says, inadequate progress on structural reforms. Not adequate, you know. Inadequate. The opposite of adequate. So much so that a warning wasn't sufficient. But cease and desist from giving any money. As a result, the IMF halted disbursement. And guess what happened? And other partners such as the World Bank, the IDB, and the EU also withheld funding. So when IMF did it, it wasn't because PMP talked to them, because that's what they'll go on the radio with later. That PMP tell IMF not to give them. The World Bank says true. The EU said facts. The IDB said, what manner of a government is this? Who was over there? The current Prime Minister was over there. Later became Prime Minister on the back of Bruce Golding. What happened between 2011 when he promised bitter medicine and 2016 when he could say prosperity? The only thing that happened is the PMP turned around the fortunes of this country. Go further. And we have to look now at the period 1989 to 2007. Several financial institutions, they call this the FinZac crisis. FinZac period. It's an improper name. It's a financial crisis. The answer was FinZac, not the question, not the problem. I'll come into it further. The answer was FinZac. But let's go. Several financial institutions. I'm going to send them the script, you know. All right, we soon reach to kill self. You soon hear. Several financial institutions, banks, and insurance companies are what we call financial institutions. They collapsed due to poor regulatory oversight, high interest rate, and exposure to bad loans. Out of that, the PMP government created FinZac, Financial Sector Adjustment Company, to bail out and manage the crisis. What was the impact? Massive increase in public debt. Over 40% of GDP just to resolve the crisis. Inflationary pressures from fiscal strain and loss of confidence. So if I want you to go back up to the graph Prime Minister Holness presented. That one. And I want us to pay attention to that graph. If you look at that is 1997. So we get it 1989. By the way, this is just after Gilbert, September 1988. So therefore, because this hurricane will never ever come Jamaica, they are saying that it is the reason why them are fail and everything mash up. Gilbert that wrecked Jamaica. By 3 years' time, 4 years, 1993, the debt to GDP rate was 72%. We took it from 212% to 72%. And this is the government that they say is not disciplined. Oh boy. At that time, if you look at the graph there from 1993.
Is the Prime Minister's graph?
All right, the speaker's time has been expired. Senator Morris.
Mr. President, the speaker's time for telling us about lies has expired, I believe, but I think he has maybe 5 more minutes. May he be allowed to finish his interesting presentation, and I hope the students aren't listening too much.
No.
All right, so the question is that the speaker's time be extended so that he can finish his presentation. Those in favor?
Did you hear that from the Minister of Education? The Minister of Education is saying to the students in the gallery, I hope they're not listening too much to the best presentation in the Senate. Seriously, Minister? Seriously, Minister of Education is encouraging the student in the gallery not to listen too much to what Damian Crawford is saying. Not everything is fun, Miss Dixon. There are time and place, Miss Dixon. And just so no need to have any qualification anyway, no just need to be disciplers to him decadence.
Favor?
Aye.
Those against the ayes have it, Senator Crawford.
It has fallen to me to rebut 5 hours of lies. I need a little time. And I want to say to my students, I want you to listen. Don't necessarily believe everything you hear, but go and check it. That is all we need. Listen to me, listen to them, and then Google. Because the truth is an enemy of that side. This graph is a graph presented by the Prime Minister himself. All I do was screenshot it on my computer and put it up. And they say it's revisionist. then what if I drew the graph? Who's that?
Amazing.
But come back, let me get back on track. Because can you imagine that, man? Go down. Let disown the graph because the graph proved them wrong.
Just because you are present the graph, then this one.
Oh boy, come down. Yes. Massive increase in debt. So if you look back, we don't have to go back to it, but if you look, you see the climb in debt at the cost of resolving the financial crisis that happened at that time. Up till now, I'm not rich, so I'm not, them time I'm barely at 10, so it couldn't be me. Don't forget that wasn't there an MP that owned a bank? A JLP MP at the time, along with a Nigerian chief? Wasn't that PMP MP? No. Okay. Wasn't there MPs that got bailed out because their debt wasn't clear?
And there was a former prime
Cabinet
minister
member
who got alone.
All right.
And claimed saying, forget it.
You forget it. Make we talk about it. So the PMP's response was to introduce strict financial regulations, created Financial Service Commission, the FSC, and Deposit Insurance Corporation, the JDIC. So therefore, the changes that were necessary were not done by the JLP, they were done by the People's National Party.
Absolutely.
And they want to claim that the soft management systems, they had no role, when the vast majority of years before they were in power. So how could they, why didn't they put the JDIC when they were in power of 1980, when the financial guru was in power? Okay, well, I'm glad you know. I'm glad you know. So make we come, I come into it. Hey, listen, he was reading but not understanding it. What happened? Yeah. In the know what we do now. Jamaica phased out protection for local industries under, hold on, Mr. President, beg you the class need a little settling down.
All right, but you know, Senator Crawford,
yes,
you allow yourself to get distracted by this side, and you allow yourself to get distracted by the other side. Now look here, the minister,
yes,
graciously asked for an extension of your time, and you got it.
Yes.
Focus on your presentation and let us get through your presentation.
But the difference, right, Mr. President, is that this is the staff room and that is the classroom. The classroom cannot be disturbed.
All right, there you go again. and those added comments is what extends it.
All right, and tell them to start them nice then.
All right.
What happened in the 1990s? Jamaica phased out protection for local industries. The people who the milk will tell you about it. Was it a decision that they made without pressure? No. That was the IMF saying you cannot get a loan unless you abide to the Washington Consensus. Google the Washington Consensus.
Absolutely.
The Washington Consensus was fueled by Thatcher and Reagan, who were the best of friends to the Jamaica Labour Party.
Absolutely.
We can give quotes of Reagan saying that he'll make sure they are successful. They then came and say at this point that the debt to GDP was 260%. If you want any help, you must liberalize farming. You must liberalize banking. You must make the foreign exchange be based on the market forces. You must make interest rate be based on the market forces. This wasn't a decision that the PMP said, we are going to do that. If we were to survive after what they did up to 1989, an IMF loan was necessary. And so the liberalization happened. Many of our industries died. The world moved towards full trade liberalization. Local industries, and agriculture collapsed under cheap import. I want you to Google milk powder's impact on the milk industry. Job losses and rural dislocation. Currency depreciation and inflation as markets opened rapidly. What was the PMP response? Introduce social safety net like PATH.
Yes.
Anybody who benefits from the PATH program should be reminded that that is the work of the People's National Party. It then focused on tourism and services to replace lost industry. They used to say pipeline when we were seeking the Spanish to come. We carried the Spanish here. We established the processes for, at that time, sandals to grow, and at that time, breezes, super clubs to grow. Yeah, man. Don't worry yourself. You soon get an explanation. What happened? Global oil prices spiked during the Gulf War and again in early 2000. Jamaica, being oil dependent, saw increased transportation and electricity costs, and of course bauxite would have faced challenges because of the energy consumption that it did. Notably, there were some events. I hear they crying about what this last one named Beryl. Beryl touched down on St. Elizabeth, and after Beryl, I was out the next day driving up and down. What happened in the PMP's time? Hurricane Gilbert was September 1988. So therefore, it lingered over into February 1989, which we had. Hurricane Ivan was in 2004. Hurricane Dean was in 2007. Destroyed crops, infrastructure and homes, created food inflation, reconstruction costs. The PMP had to deal with that. The EU ACP agreement ended. Now, because we were, what you call that again? We were colonies. We had a preferential treatment where we sell our bananas at higher prices. So Britain was saying, we're going to give you some repayment for what we have done. And they did that with special banana prices, special sugar prices.
Senator Crawford, address me now.
Oh, you want to learn too? All right. So they did that special banana prices, special sugar prices. When Chiquita and Dole, Mr. President researched Chiquita and Dole, carried up.
What I want you to do is address the bill before me.
That what you mean?
You are doing, what you are
What you mean?
what you are doing, I want you to address this.
Oh, no, can't
What you
get
are
these licks.
what you are
They
doing,
can't take these
what
things.
you are doing really,
The
right?
Prime Minister
We
talk for 5
appreciate
hours
it,
and
you
these
know.
things is the Prime Minister graph.
We appreciate it. But see the time,
You know, I'm no lick figure.
almost
You have Finan.
1 o'clock.
You can't take these licks. Chiquita and Dole went to court. They carried Britain to court and suggested that this was against WTO agreement. When they won that case, the British had to end preferential treatment for sugar and banana. Because we were dependent on those preferential treatment, that is how banana died quickly. And thereafter, sugar also died. Led to job losses, rural economic decline. In that period up to 2007, there was also 9/11. These people forget.
How soon they forget.
Like it's them alone. In 9/11, when the planes crashed into the World Trade Center, this was September 11, 2001 it was. GDP growth slowed, government revenue dropped, tourism massive decline, and it wasn't a world lock, world open. It was a fear of travel that permeated the world and lasted for a very long time. But in spite of all of that, in the period 1989 to 2007, the PMP ended IMF borrowing relationship and passed 12 consecutive IMF tests. The IMF test has been used over the last 9 years as a proxy of good governance and fiscal responsibility. Yet the passing of 12 IMF tests in that period is ignored to say that they were fiscally impossible. The same reality. Macroeconomic reform happened. They managed the fiscal sector crisis through FinSAC, protected over 1.5 million depositors who had money in the bank, and 570,000 policyholders. They also did Highway 2000 and finished Highway 2000, not in the same way they're doing now over into St. Thomas, that you have to dig up and repave and flood out people's yard. Airport modernization, water, energy and telecommunications improved.
And they opposed the telecommunications bill in the past.
Housing and land reform. In that period, the PMP government built 150,000 houses, include completion of Greater Portmore with over 10,000 homes. And that was in 1995 alone. 58,000 families received land titles under what they are trying to malign, the Operation Pride program.
Absolutely.
Health system strengthened. National Health Fund was established by the People's National Party.
Yes, 2003.
Major hospital upgrades. KPH, Mandeville, Spanish Town, Bustamante, Maypen was built. And Mandeville was built.
No
Upgraded. And at that time, there was no cost overrun to the tune of Cornwall Regional. They are telling us that a group of individuals that told the country that Cornwall Regional will take 2 billion to fix. Gone 22 billion and counting. And they are fiscally responsible. Beg some protection. None of us in this room, anything Is it not true that it reached 22 billion? It's true. Is it not true that the projection was 2 billion? Is it not true that it has been changed about 6 times?
That's true. Under 8 years. 8 years.
5 billion more? You can't answer when I your turn.
That's what they call it.
If a mason come to my yard and tell me to fix a problem is 2 million, and then come back to say, by the way, it's 22, me and him fight. It will never. Expansion of scope. They would not accept that in their own lives, but they accept it in the country's lives. Drugs for the elderly program was set up. Education. Listen, they keep saying the Jamaica, you call election, call it, make them decide then, man. Then call it now. You want me to call it? Call it now, man. We and the Jamaican people ready. We can't bother with the act party. The Jamaican people ready to decide. Education and human capital development. In that period, tertiary access jumped. University participation rose from 6.5% in 1991 to 19.5% in 2004.
Yes, I moved from 1 university to 6.
Universal Access Fund was also created. And we had a 500% increase in cell phones, and new fiber optic infrastructure was laid.
And we had to amend the legislation.
Some of these people seem to believe that the cell phone came
Just like that.
And if you have money, you buy a phone. Cellular phones could not have worked if the fiber optics were not run and the necessary infrastructure were not put in place. It was the People's National Party that did that.
And I sat in here when they opposed the bill.
But I want you to also hear this. Poverty rate reduced from 28.4% in 1990 to 9.9% in 2007. This was due to efforts such as the PATH program, the National Poverty Eradication Program that was targeted. 800 million US at that time, billions now in today's money, in investments, and the TEF fund was established. Now let us compare periods. Tertiary enrollment increased by 306%. Students getting access to universities and colleges. It moved up by 306%. Let us look at Andrew Holness period from 2016 to 2024. It moved up by 3%.
That's on the ground? What?
It's by 3. You can see it way down there, sir. 3%. And they said this is the greatest. What variable are we using to analyze that variable? You don't have the ability. I write a speech from yesterday, never know what I'm going to say. The growth, I'm quoting Minister Holness now, Prime Minister Holness, and poverty. He says, the graph now being displayed, this is the exact graph that the Prime Minister displayed. The graph now being displayed illustrates the trajectory of poverty prevalence in our country. It clearly shows that under my administration, meaning my Andrew Holness administration, we have achieved a steady and measurable decline in poverty, apart from temporary spikes in 2020 caused by the pandemic. This is a direct quotation of Andrew Holness. Now let us look at the graph. They received in 2016, because his administration is 2016 to now 2024. In 2016, poverty was 11.6%. And now it is 12.1%. It has increased. Yet we have a prime minister that says this graph that shows an increase in his administration clearly shows that under his administration, there's a steady and measurable decline. In his administration, he didn't say there's a decline since COVID. I couldn't argue with that because it goes to 21%. He didn't say after we caused a spike in 2017 up to 19.3%, there's a decline. This man said, how can we trust a man like that? Who said that in my administration, from 2016 to 2024, when at the start he received it at 11.6, and it is now above what it was. Above what it was. Let us look. Let us look. Sophie, move it quickly, because these are the Prime Minister's words, not my words. Move again, so. No, listen, no, make it stay there now. This is what poverty handing over was. In 1988, the JLP handed over to the PMP a poverty rate of 30.5%. Senator Bunting, you seen that? I want to put on glasses, good. 1988, the end, that is the last part of the year now. So we give them just that now. So we get it 89, 30.5%. The PMP administration that they lambast took it down under PJ Patterson and Portia Simpson Miller later to 9.9%.
Absolutely.
Hold on now. Hold on now. The JLP then won in 2011. So we give them it 2007. We give them it at 9.9. They carried it to 19.9%. Hear what I say? More than double it. Come again now.
So what about Fitz?
Wait no man, make them stay no man. We don't have time for talk. Wait. The PMP got it back and moved it from 19.9 to 11. Which party is the party for the poor? All kinds of reasons now. You should apologize to the people. Google it. Google it. No, Google, I'll be on time. AI it, chat GPT it. Yes. You know what? Deep seek it. Make a repeat. In 1988, the last day of 1988, poverty was 30.5%, created by the administration of Edward Seaga.
That's the year we started to measure.
The PMP started now and fought everything that we fought, including what they say is FinZac, including Tree Hurricane, including liberalization, including IMF, including bank failure. We took it from 30.5
Chef James, are you still here? Let me know if you're still here, Chef James. Are you still here, Chef James?
Absolute complete analysis.
They then, so we saw the trajectory that was happening.
Yes.
And the people say, you know what? Make us see what go on. Some young people said, I never seen no labor right there. Let me try. And they won. What happened? It moved from 9 to 19%. Based on what they're saying, labor rights salt, man. Every time they come in my shop, every time labor rights come in, something go wrong. We don't want a more salt government, man. They then take it from 9.9 to 19.9. All right? We take it back. And what happened?
What happened?
It went down again dramatically to 11. And the Prime Minister, who says that clearly it is going down under his administration, have moved it from 11 to 12.1. What can go so?
Like what?
What? I think we have dealt with that sufficiently, Sophie.
Madness.
Now let's look in the madness.
No, that's man written up there.
James, you're there. Chef James, are you here?
This is the Prime Minister's quotation. It's for them words, man.
Use it. Use it.
And for them graph. You coming like some people when I do their SB and expect to pass exam.
Hello. Just continue.
A one-sided thing. I don't understand.
But you don't sort of just did. I asked him to just leave you alone so you can continue.
He doesn't have that in his repertoire, sir.
I just move on.
All right, thank you. The Prime Minister's statement. He says in the mid-1990s, Jamaica faced a financial sector crisis, which resulted in the collapse of a number of financial institutions. This financial sector meltdown was not caused by any exogenous shock or global crisis. In fact, the US, our major trading partner, had robust growth in the 1990s, averaging 3.4% per annum. This was purely caused by bad governance, he says, bad policy choices, he says, and poor superintendence.
Welcome, Kathy.
Of the economy. FinZac was a homegrown domestic crisis, he says, wholly caused by the PMP, for which we now are only just recovering. This is a statement by Prime Minister Andrew Holness in the budget debate. Now let us check the facts.
Thank you, Captain.
Senator
Thank
Bunting,
you.
Senator Scott Matley, Senator Fraser Baines. According to data compiled by the World Bank and the IMF, more than 130 countries experienced bank sector distress between 1980 and 2002. More than 130 countries. Was PJ Patterson the Prime Minister of 130 countries? Was Omar Davies the Finance Minister of 130 countries? But him don't understand this thing. When you are looking for a causal effect.
Mr. Bunting, stop it. Mr. Morgan, give the Senator Crawford. You have been at it now for an hour. Your colleagues have, in my view, given you a free rein to finish your presentation. But you have a number of speakers and you're touching on an hour now. So I'm asking the members just to allow you to complete.
Okay.
Without the intervention, either
and
support
don't forget the
or
Prime Minister
otherwise.
took 5 hours.
You come again?
Don't forget the Prime Minister take 5.
Prime Minister.
That's why I not take 5, I take 2. No,
you see, you are the ones that gave.
I don't need to be close to the leader of the party, is Mark Golding. I'm master. Ready? If you're going to look at a causal impact, which they are suggesting, that bad government was a causal impact, then that causal impact must be specific to the space that the outcome is coming from. Now, what happens? Crises in over 40 developing and transitioning economies. Many required bailouts. Asset management companies were formed, such as FinZac and IMF programs to stabilize. Let's say if we move quick, so make we move quick. What were some of these countries? Countries such as Mexico, Thailand, Indonesia, North Korea, Malaysia, Russia, Turkey, Brazil, and yes, Jamaica. Go again. Come here, hurry up now. Some countries did not save their depositors. Some countries did not intervene on behalf of the pensioners, the poor people. So there were places that people lost money. Saving the money of the depositors was a conscious decision of the People's National Party government.
You're here.
We see Argentina, Russia, Kenya, all of them lost. Come, we have moved quicker. I don't want to stop me before I reach a sweet part. I don't reach a sweet part yet, you know? No, make them stop me. Give me back that stuff. Yeah. Come, give me back that. No, I can't skip that. I don't want to waste no time. Give me, go ahead. A question we should ask the JLP is, what was their alternative? What would they have done if that wasn't the case? What would have happened? Give me it, Sophie. If the PMP did not intervene, there would have been over a dozen financial institutions that would have been already insolvent or on the verge of collapse. Without intervention, many more would have collapsed. Loss of depositors' funds, especially small savers, poor people. Loss of pension savings for retirees. Frozen or inaccessible accounts, triggering panic. Widespread loss of public confidence.
JLP supporters, just an announcement for no. Trouble me for no bad. As well as the cheap TikTok page we have running now, TikTok has invited me to go live on 2 other pages, Moats TV and Advanced Potential TV. One have only 128 followers, and the other one have about 70 odd followers. Trouble me for no bad. JLP supporters, I dare enough to trouble me for no bad. Cause I tell you no so now grow me on TikTok so fast. On the wood, baby, I dare just trouble me. Just trouble me. I can show that I can start a new TikTok page as just trouble me. I beg on you. Anyway, back to an excellent presentation. A fitting response for a corrupt, lying prime minister from Senator Crawford.
Move, Sophie. We have to move quick because they want to stop us. Massive contraction in credit investment. Business would be unable to access loans or credit lines. Small and medium-sized enterprises, which are critical for employment, would have gone bankrupt. This would lead to mass layoffs, reducing income and sharp recession. GDP would plummet due to business closure, decreased consumption, investors pull out. Pensioners and workers would have been devastated. Many older Jamaicans would have fallen into poverty, unable to meet basic needs. Social unrest and instability would have evolved. Crime would have risen. Would have lost international credibility and can't get any debt to borrow at this particular point in time. The only way to protect depositors and maintain systematic stability was for the government to buy out the bad loans, recapitalize key institutions, and rebuild confidence. And was there a cost to that? Yes. We had to borrow to be able to afford that. Move ahead because we don't want them sick. But we'll put out the slides. That will show you what happened in other countries that didn't do it. We'll put out the slide. It was hard, but a wise decision. You can Google Argentina versus Jamaica financial meltdown. Come again. What would they want us to do? They will want us to follow what they're doing now with SSL. Yes. That when people like Bolton and some other people lose their money, them tell them hold up them stress. That is what they would have wanted us to do. They would have said that is fool who put it in there is not we telling them. Had we done that, there would have been straight destabilization of our society. Let's go to unemployment. Yes, because me I try hurry up. It's not being allowed. Don't rush. Talk to me now. All right, then talk to me. Let's go to unemployment. No, I'm not questioning. Give me a chance. Take a sip.
Take 2 sips. 3 sips if necessary.
My sign language expert is tired right now. Let's go. I'm not questioning the measurement of unemployment. And it suggests that 3.5% unemployment exists. However, Mr. President, we're nowhere near full employment. In economic terms, full employment doesn't mean zero unemployment. It means that nearly everyone who wants to work and is actively seeking work can find a job. A rate around 3 to 5 is often considered full employment by global standard. Now, within that, you have other types of unemployment, hidden unemployment. There is the L2, which is the number of persons who want to work for 40 hours, but not working for 40 hours. So therefore, they're underemployed. Like a man get a day's work or a 2 days work, she go wash, she's underemployed. So when we say underemployment, it's not only a person working below the job of its qualification, but the consumption of its hours is not to what they desire. And then there's L3, there's people within the potential labor force that they're still interested in working, but them not find none. So them kind of not look, but they're still interested. But let us move forward. So that's hidden. However, the working age population, and this is from the book produced by the government, the FPP, the fiscal policy paper. It says working age population is 2,156,000. Willing to work is 1,468,300. Not seeking work is 687,700 people. Listen again. Now, they are not factored into the consideration of our unemployment rate. So it seems we have an unemployed and a not employed, which is different. Oh, okay. 687,000 people. Now, if we put our head in the sand and celebrate the full employment 3.5, we almost have to import people and not look at 687 people that have surrendered. 1,000 have surrendered. Come, let's go. No, I am not trying to exaggerate. So in my research, I found that the workforce is really 14 to 75. So there's some within that 687 that shouldn't legitimately be in that because they'll be in school and stuff like that. So therefore, I removed in school 144,000. And I removed 65 plus 231,000 because I'm not trying to lie by exaggeration. It still leaves disengaged labor of ripe labor age, 312,000. There's no policy, there's no promotion, there's nothing in the budget other than $20,000. All right.
Cheap government.
These 300,000 people I can put it to you are depressed. No wonder they're seeking to divert their mental state from morning till night. The only way an individual can seek to alter their mental state through alcohol consumption and drug consumption from the time of waking up to the time of going to bed is if they're in mental pain. They have given up, become fodder for gangs. Not in the budget.
Gangs stop keep 100 gangs down from 350. Gangs have a stop keep.
Well, you carry me to crime. You read my speech. Crime. I'm reading my speech. The biggest year over year jump in murder is 1979 to 1980. You hear people talk about PGM. The biggest jump was when the JLP decided that by any means necessary, they'll win the next election. And that was 1979, it was 351 murders. 1980, it got to 899 murders. I must accept that the first year Jamaica murder count exceeded 1,000 was under the PMP's administration, and that was 1997. The highest murder year was also, I think that is incorrect. I think it's Oh, okay. I will. I'll check it. I think. But all right.
I am 74.
So this is correct. So the highest murder rate here was under the Jamaica Labour Party. The second was under. Oh Lord, let's go further. Let's go further. I never wanted to tell a lie. Ready? Now, let us look, Mr. President. Mr. President, I beg you some opportunity. Let us look. I want to hurry up. Let us look at who is the best and the worst prime minister as it relates to murder rate. Under Bustamante, all of this is what the prime minister presented, you know. All of this is what the this particular graph, this slide, this table was taken directly from the prime minister's speech. Ready now? Was ready? Hold on. No, not this one. I'm lying. This was yes. No, sorry. I apologize. This is not the one. This comes from an analysis of the one. I'll carry the one soon. So I apologize. That is not true. This one is not true. But let's look at the numbers. Under Bustamante, the average murder rate for his term was 92.4 murders per year. Under Michael Manley as Prime Minister, 1972 to 1980, the average murder rate for his term was 362.78 murders per year. Under Edward Seaga, 1981 to 1988, the average murder rate was 446 per year. Under PJ Patterson with Michael Manley, the average murder rate was 932 per year. Under Bruce Golding and Andrew Holness, the murder rate was 1,458 per year. The worst performing group as it relates to murders in this country.
Welcome, Raymond.
Under Portia Simpson, with the assistance of the leader of opposition business, Peter Bunting, and the assistance of Divine Intervention, there was a 1,127. Under this government, this administration, Andrew Holness only, murder is 1,390 per year, the second highest. And he wants to disguise that by saying we had a good month, or a good day, or a good quarter. Under his superintendence, murder is 100.
That's my problem with Andrew Holness and this crime figure. Them use February to broad brush a 20-year time scale. They've used the month of February to be broad brushing 20 years. How Andrew Holness one so wicked and conniving?
1,390. Go further. Yeah, we good, man. Call it Andrew. Look at the graph there.
Senator Brown, you don't have to stand, you don't have to get up. Senator Brown.
And the acting chair spoke to you. I really believe the decorum of the Senate.
You talking about decorum?
Yes, I am doing so. The decorum of the Senate.
Hello, please. Hello, please. Senator Brown, I hear you. Gentlemen, ladies, members of the Senate, please allow the member to complete.
I'm coming to the.
Go ahead, Senator. It's just,
You don't want to be associated with what's being.
Senator Brown, I need to apologize to you. You rose and said that it was a question of decorum, but coming from you, I found that a bit startling. But I apologize.
Well, make a hurry up. I want to finish.
Welcome.
Mr. President, look at that. Look at that graph, Mr. President. Mr. President, look at that graph. The Prime Minister has suggested that the superintendence of crime is a proxy of performance. They have said that. I heard a radio station said the murder Prime Minister is PJ Patterson. Well, let's look into it. The Prime Minister said in the budget.
George Draws Davis. It was said by Draws Davis over CVM. Yes, a Draws Davis sister.
That the control of crime is essential for development. This is the budget. The highest tier of yearly murders in this country, under the highest average of yearly murders in this country under any government, was under the Bruce Golding 27 to 2011. The second highest year is under Andrew Holness. And yet they say they are better at managing crime than the PMP. How? Them say this is the start. The numbers are there. You have the numbers? So what is the fact? They never did? What happened? Give me something. Let's look at this iteration. From 2012, where some of us were present, to now. The gold medal, 2017. Highest murder rate in this period, 1,600. Just look at the whole of the front part. Them that dominate champs. JLP 2017, JLP 2022, JLP 2021, JLP 2023, JLP 2016, JLP 2019, JLP 2020, JLP 2018. Every lane full. And look at what we had. 4 of the 5 lowest murder rates. What am I going to say now? Financial crisis? Go again. The Prime Minister said in his speech, if you increase it and decrease it, how you forget praise when you don't reach where it was when you got it? I don't understand what they're saying. Let us recall the Prime Minister says, and this is from his budget speech, I quote, let us recall that the drop in murders from 2009 to 2014, for which the opposition seeks to take credit, was a direct result of the SOE launched in May 2010 by Jamaica Labour Party administration. Remember what I tell you they're depending on. That the children don't know and the adults have forgotten. Let me remind them. The May 2010 state of emergency was not an effort or a decision to fight crime. It was based on the fact, you know what you said, that there was a crisis in Tivoli Garden. In 2009, let us remind the people, the United States requested the extradition of Dodos Cook, who was a known gang leader and a considered head of the Shower Posse, a violent transnational criminal organization. He was also seen as a powerful figure with political loyalty to the Jamaica Labour Party. Ready now. The government chose to delay from 2009 to 2010. The Jamaica government under Prime Minister Bruce Golding resisted the request for the extradition, including Andrew Holness. He was leader of government business. Yes. Andrew Holness was a senior member of the Jamaica Labour Party. Yes. The JLP then hired a firm. You hear what I said they did? They hired a firm to block the extradition.
Is it Phipps, Phillips, and Manat?
And Phillips.
Manat, Felton, Phillips.
No. You don't have to elaborate.
Yeah, make we take it. Make we hear.
Point of order. Yeah, it's a point of order. It's a point of order. Mr. President, whilst we all tend to be liberal in respect to presentations that are made by members, and I think that the comments, a lot of his presentation is irrelevant to the bill.
Just like for under 5 hours.
It is irrelevant.
Just like for under 5 hours, young man.
Well, take the point there. we are in this chamber and there is a standing order that says that presentations must be relevant to the bill.
Somebody should
Not
tell
relevant
Andrew
to
that.
any discussion that may have taken place or debate that have taken place elsewhere.
Excuse you?
Right? And Senator Crawford
Man,
has been given wide latitude, Mr. President. And I'm asking
Senator
that
Crawford, you hear what the objection is?
Yes.
must
Can
be
I
relevant
respond,
to the
Mr.
bill,
President?
related to the bill.
Can I respond?
Senator Brown.
It's important.
Is what you're addressing.
I am addressing.
No, that's not what in this bill.
Yes.
Yes, right.
No.
Minister of National Security, everything.
Yeah.
But
But
me
you don't
answer.
have wide
Can
latitude
I answer,
to
Mr.
speak about
President?
everything.
Because I want to finish.
No, when Senator Brown and Senator Sinclair finish, I'll address
But
you.
sir, I want to finish, sir.
Let Senator Brown go on.
We have the 400 hurdles we go watch.
How much me have left, Sophie?
Senator Crawford, you sit down on the side of the chair now drinking water. You're not a champs yet, you know.
Mr. President.
But you see, I am the starter, you know. You get the picture?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I don't want you to disqualify me.
The liquor hit.
Don't disqualify me.
I want you to, Senator Crawford, stick to the bill.
Yes.
Right? And with the greatest of respect, you have been given the latitude. It's 5 minutes past 1. I would appreciate
I'm trying
if
to
you
finish
were
the
to wrap up.
disrupting.
No,
But
man,
Mr. President,
you're encouraged.
Can I respond,
the
sir?
disruption. No, just continue, man. Just continue.
Yes.
Stay relevant and continue.
Is this bill about the budget, Mr. President? And in the budget, is there a segment for security in the budget? And is there a need for analysis of the spending?
Yes.
I am speaking to what the Prime Minister said was the reason for this budget being casted as it was.
All right, Senator Brown, Senator
He
Crawford,
said
go on, man.
these
Continue,
things.
man.
So what you say now? You want to know why I hear this? The Jamaica government and the Prime Minister Bruce Golding resisted the request and hired a firm to block the extradition. This sparked domestic and international criticism, alleging that the government was protecting a criminal figure. Continue. Now, what you say? Now, when they decided to sign the extradition after pressures, because there's a whole SOE. What was that again? No, man, where KD said pack your bags and go. There's a whole thing. There's a whole commission of inquiry. We can analyze it if we want. I don't have to go further. But barricades were set up after he was given time to prepare. By the delay, barriers were set up, police stations were burned, and therefore a state of emergency was called. The state of emergency was not called out of a cabinet decision to fight crime. That's not true, but continue. The government declared a state of emergency. Security forces launched an assault on Tivoli Garden, and 73 deaths happened. I think this is 73 civilians. And they're talking about apologize. Have they apologized to Tivoli Gardens, one of their chief supporting communities, for the deaths that they caused with their decisions? But then the Prime Minister in that thing got on some more, Sophie. Next one. Suggested that the Prime Minister suggested in his presentation that if the PMP did not end that state of emergency, that crime would have gone down further. Let's look at it, because the truth is their enemy. This is, go back up and show them the picture so they know it's true. Up. This is from the Jamaica Information Service that was being managed by the government of Jamaica, the JLP government, in 2010. Let me read it. Go down, make I read it. The Prime Minister said the PMP ended it. How can we trust this man? It quotes, a resolution to extend the state of emergency, which has been in effect since May 23rd, was not approved in the House of Representatives Tuesday, July 2020. The resolution brought by Prime Minister, the Honorable Bruce Golding, sought to extend the state of emergency in the parishes of Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Catherine to August 21st, 2010. This is the sweet part. The resolution needed 31 votes for approval, but 6 government members, who was the government? The JLP. 6 government members were absent when it was put to the vote. The 25 government MPs who voted in favor was not enough, as the 18 opposition members abstained. So they needed their people, only their people. Only their people.
Is that gaslighting?
That is gaslighting. I understand from analyzing the Hansard, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, that the current Minister of Justice, Delroy Chuck, was absent. Is the Hansard tell me now, I love sue people? They can sue me today. All right, but good. Delroy Chuck, the current Minister of Justice, absented himself. He needs to explain to the people of Jamaica. Yes. And the Prime Minister, who was the leader of government business, with the duty and job to make sure the 31 was there, keeps repeating that the PMP ended the state of emergency. How can we trust this man? Go. And he says that all of Senator Bunting's achievements was due to 2 SOEs. Yet when he had multiple SOEs for multiple years, crime increased by 211 murders. Between 2018, when he started his SOEs, and when about 20 or 20 after, but Bruce Golding's 2 was the reason why 4 years after you could be successful. Now, what that makes sense? What can go so? What can go so? This is the type of analysis that the Prime Minister is giving. No, they say they save for a rainy day. I hear the finance minister said, oh, we save, and when we save, we can spend, and we can save for a rainy day. They said the PMP is not the saving party. Well, let's analyze a rainy day, because COVID-19 was a rainy day. If there's ever a rainy day, COVID-19, let's analyze. Let's analyze. Me already tell you about that already. Lies will not win you this election. And now I'm going to show a light. But when COVID came, they depended on the NHF, which was created by the People's National Party. That is the PMP saving fund that they had to raise. Go on again, Sophie, I don't want it too long. When COVID came, they depended on the Universal Access Fund. All of the spending for children to get access on the wireless, and that was PMP saving fund. Come again. They depending on the Tourism Enhancement Fund. Well, go on, man. Come again. Beat them. They depended on NHC. Created by the People's National Party. E-learning Jamaica. PMP saving fund. JC. PMP saving fund. Come again. Chase fund. PMP saving fund. Had it not been for the PMP saving fund, they could not have executed 40 years ago. Where would we be? I give you no heart. I give you no heart. I rewarded Edward Seagafard. I gave him a plaque. He came to the dinner. He wasn't as what do you call it now? Biased as you. He came to the PMP Wales dinner, and I gave him a plaque. Look, NHT, created by the PMP in 1976. Michael Manley. Jamaica Social Investment Fund, 1996, PJ Patterson. Chase Fund, 2002, PJ Patterson. National Health Fund, 2003, PJ Patterson. E-Learning Jamaica, 2003, PJ Patterson. Tourism Enhancement Fund, 2004, PJ Patterson. Universal Access Fund, 2004. Did you see Andrew Holness name up there? No. It's all part, but part wasn't a source of funds. So it wasn't the saving fund. But it's a program that they depended on. But I'm showing you that how is it that the band raiders are saying that they're better than the farmers of the corn?
Argument.
They don't want them liquor, man.
Argument.
Well, now we're going on some ideas galore. We are hurry up, you know. So. First they said, we don't have no idea. What stupidity is that? How could a collection of over 4,000 people have no idea? But they say we have no good idea.
Just say what modern is that?
Yes. What madness is that? Now, when we link them with ideas now, they say it wasn't costing. I want any Jamaican to go to the presentation by Andrew Holness in 2015 in this parliament as leader of the opposition going into the election and tell me where his costings were. Yeah. Just go and look back at that 2015. I don't need to tell nobody nothing. Right? It has never been the itemization of each project in the opposition leader's speech. Never been. Give me a chance. Come now. They will steal some ideas. Ready now? Minister Williams' assumption. Minister Williams says that the opposition promised daily lunch meals at primary and secondary school for all children who are in need. I want you to listen to that, you know. It's a quotation. She said for all children who are in need. The government currently spends $9 billion for 200,000 children to get breakfast, snacks, and midday meals for 190 days. If anything is put in this country at risk, it is this minister that is putting this country at risk. Why we know this minister is putting this country at risk, Minister of Finance? Because her cost analysis don't add up, the maths is not mathsing. If she should spend $280 per child on 200,000 children for 190 days, that is 10.6 billion. The budget is 8.98. So already she out billion. 1.66 billion shortfall. How much other bad maths is in this budget? How much other bad maths? At $200 a meal for 190 days. It is either they're lying on the number of children, because it would be 168,000, or they plan to feed 31,000 fewer who need it. We go again. Let us not forget that in her analysis of the PMP's proposal, she said 400,000 children are in need. The JLP's proposal is to feed 168. They have decided to sacrifice in this budget 231,203 children that she says, as the former Minister of Education, she should know. That is not in the budget. But she says the PMP needed number is 400,000. She should know. We go to transportation. 50% deep rural problems. Go again, Sophie, rural problems. Let's look at student transportation. Oh, Lord. Well, let's look. Student transportation. The JLP main program, we have RIDE, Rural Initiative for Delivering Education. They have a national rural school bus system. Number of students to benefit, 50,000 from the PMP side. The current number of students benefit from the PATH RIDE program is 7,500. Allocation per child, 2,500 per week via school operators. So, for example, the Dean of Discipline or the Guidance Council will recommend a child who they see not coming, and they will say, you know, this one have some troubles, and then the analysts will go and analyze it. Their method, they just catch a bus if you catch a bus. Phase detail, the JLP said that they'll phase it in. Coverage focus, island-wide for the PMP, the JLP is picking 1 and 2 parishes. The role is to reduce absenteeism and improve access. Next one, Sophie. Housing policy. The PMP NHT, we will stop taking the money out of the budget. And they have made heavy weather of this one. when the election is called after today, the 11 billion from the NHT budget would already been taken out. Therefore, the Prime Minister, to be Mark Golding, has made a commitment that he will take no further funds from the NHT. People who are activists
Take the
and
likes
acting
of
as
50,000
journalists
from it, please.
are saying, then why is it in this budget? But Prime Minister Andrew Holness said he's building 7 town centers. None of it is in this budget.
None. Not one.
But nobody asks why is he talking about that in this budget. There's never been a conversation of a budget without painting an overarching view of what we will do. But let's look. Affordability, I love that. Hey man, I'm about 3 slides left, not you?
3 slides.
3 slides.
Mr. President, might the Senate be permitted to sit beyond 1:30 to complete the business of the day?
Senator, the question, you have heard. Those in favor? Those in favor? Those in favor?
Aye. By the way, let me just remind my taxi drivers that the PMP's transportation plan to use taxi drivers to put money in the economy and provide growth. The JLP transportation plan trying to buy bus to compete with them. Make we tell them. Ready now. We have a rent-to-own plan. The rent-to-own plan has been continuously conversed upon. This is where if you don't have access to the money, you can go and rent a house, and a portion of the rental will go towards your mortgage, to your down payment, and eventually the rental become a mortgage. When that lick them, they don't know what to say. They have no plan. Young buyers get support. $1 billion fund to give the young buyers $500,000 as a deposit help so that you can go forward. They have none of that. Informal settlements under POSHA will be reviewed. They have nothing like that. Come again.
$500,000 grant Andrew Holness to pay down for first buyers to pay down, young first buyers to pay down on them house, as opposed to $20,000 under your solidarity program and $1,000 on minimum wage. Is that the best Andrew Holness could do?
Under housing policy, we also said we're going to have better things for the teachers, but under housing policy, Andrew Holness said in his presentation, Prime Minister Andrew Holness, Dr. Andrew Holness, under the new social housing program, 208 houses have been delivered. Let us do the math.
Do the math.
This program that he takes a picture every time he's giving over one. The one picture.
Allow
if
me,
PJ Patterson was to take picture of a house, he would take every day for about 30 years. But listen, no problem. The same Prime Minister, Dr. Michael Holness, he estimates that the need is approximately 6,000 houses. If he has built 280 houses in 9 years, it would take 193 years for him to build 6,000 houses. How is that policy to be celebrated? It might be for this reason that the Auditor General, is it the Auditor General, said that this is a duplicated program that didn't need to be done. And then he responded to say, she either, what like she not sense, but basically he disregarded her statement. What 193 years? You're going to wait? That don't make any sense. Go again.
Incompetent.
Go again. Tertiary education. I have some students here. University education. I just 2 left. Now what you say? Student loan. The PMP says we will cap student loan payments at a manageable % of your income. We will suspend payments at the period of unemployment. And there will be no penalty. What the JLP says, we will extend the loan payment years. So if they extend the loan payment years for $3 million from 7 years to 10 years, it will move to about 39,000 from 46,000. Now, if it not work, where you gonna get the 39,000? The PMP is better.
Of course, PNP is better.
The PMP has also said that we will do a loan default amnesty. So that those who are in arrears and have big penalties, we will remove the penalty and make arrangements. I have seen it for businesses, I've seen it for water, I've seen it for light. Why not for students? What the JLP said, not at all. Scholarship access. The PMP said the first person in every family that matriculate to the university will be given a scholarship.
That's right.
That is 6,500 based on our calculations. What the JLP said. In his speech, Andrew Prime Minister Holness said he'd give 10 scholarships for construction. 6,500 compared to 10. The PNP is better. Teachers incentive. The teachers will get student loan relief for every year that they remain in the classroom, because we must fight to maintain our teachers. They will also be considered for some form of concession after every 5 years that they stay in the classroom. They don't have to migrate for house and car. It's one slide left. Nobody stop it now. What the JLP says. They don't remember teacher none at all. No, they don't. They don't remember teacher none at all. They don't remember police neither. With all the effort that the police are putting them in the line of fire, many police and soldiers cannot get a license for firearms, Senator Bunting. You know that? And they are now being exposed, sitting down a stoplight. Everybody see them, everybody know them. They have a M16 or a SLR for the government in the day, and they cannot get approved for a 9mm in the night. When we get into power, we will give special consideration to the security forces for a licensed firearm. You can't buy the library. Listen, man. The teachers will get tax relief on their laptops, and we will treat the internet as a tool of trade. Because you have to have information to teach. This is not addressed by the JLP. We can move on to skill training, but the time is upon us. Because we said that we're going to do a special program to put into all the high schools 4 options of vocational study and have a vocational pathway from 10th grade to 13th grade where you graduate with a level 4 in vocation. They have proposed special projects such as Lift and Care program and mentorship for students. I don't know. Go ahead. The PMP is better. Now let us look at quickly total children or total youth age 17 to 19 to 29. I only have one slide left enough to stop me now. Just 2 more lick and everything all right. Just 2 more pop. Just 2 more of this. No. Nobody watch my style, can we teach it? Me. Every style me have them teeth. So don't watch me. Can you see all them teeth bubble belly big? None of my opinion them belly not big. Good food in the schools. Right. Good food in the schools. No bang belly, the children will be all right. Ready I know. The government have made heavy weather in this budget that they have a program called Lift. 500 children per year. Every year, they will do 500 from the age 17 to 29. What is the number of persons in this age cohort? Using an average of 36,000 per year, this is taken from the Minister of Finance. That is 468,000 children in the age group 17 to 29. The government has made heavy weather of a program that is going to do 500. So therefore, 500 will be lifted, and 67,500 will be left. So 500 will be left, and over 400 will be left. She said, they said they have other programs. They have another one where the Prime Minister said, and I'm quoting, let me read the Prime Minister quote first. Heart, which is Heart Trust, will be proactive in finding you, this is the person not engaged, and bringing you to the well of training. If our economy is to grow, we need every able-bodied man and woman who is able and capable to enter the labor force. That's what he said. Remember, I just showed you we have 300,000 who decides at the 99. The program that he has targets 1,980, 30 per constituency. How can you say that you are going to make a big thing and the advertising budget would have bigger than what they are going to pay to them? Because that's the Mayor's Park, I tell the time by spark. Why we need the road to fix? The time by spark. They have done that alone. No.
So there you hear it, Jamaica. Your money, your spark money, which will only be doing about 6% of your roadways across the country, is being paid to radio station to tell you that the time by sparks is such and so forth time. Whoa! Judgment with Andrew Holness continuing to lead Jamaica. Only then, Jamaica, you'll all understand what the word judgment means.
On the radio, finally, Mr. President, I have heard Senator Morgan make heavy weather. And I've also seen my former friend, Darrell Vaz. That is my former friend. But I still have to try to help him because he can't come past 10 without backstopper. So I have to send some backstopper. Think come. Say that it will cost $1 trillion.
So that means, unlike Andrew at Tapan Road and play marble and barely reach a school, a Jaff Darrell Vaz either Pan Road a play, a shop pays a Darrell Vaz him did stop a play Jaff in you hear what Damien Crawford a game? Buckle stopper. Anybody when know about Jaff playing in the days when Andrew and Vaz them a go to school, a Jaff Vaz player, because you know they turn down and turn up buckle stopper. Yes, that Vaz there play, and Andrew Tapan Road and play marble. Bunch of dunce. That's why the country, the state it's in, because the country is run by criminals, thieves, and murderers.
To fund a first in the family scholarship. Senator Morgan said that the PMP is backtracking because we said 1 per household. They don't understand the difference between a policy objective and a policy strategy. The objective is to have 1 degree per household. And therefore, we're going to implement a strategy where the first child in every household to matriculate will get a scholarship to the end university upon which they matriculate in Jamaica. Go again, so. Go again. You don't have no bashment. All the children are left when they get up. Don't tell me already. Go again. Sophie, do this something quick. So Mr. President, when you look at the history, the PMP is better. When you look at the present, the PMP is better. When you look at the ideas, the PMP is better. So all I want to say in closing, Mr. President, is that the JLP should call the election and come down peacefully. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thiefing Prime Minister, Brock Shop Prime Minister, Lift Shut Prime Minister, 28 bank account Prime Minister, Nano Integrity Prime Minister, can't have your declaration, your statutory declaration certified Prime Minister, thief from Picnic when you was at Ministry of Education Prime Minister. You know shame? Talk truth. You know shame? For see how you lie them just stretch out a dot in front of you. But you're not ashamed anyway, because you go on to be spreading more lies. You continue lying, Andrew, to spread more. The more shame you get, you know, me notice with you, Andrew, the shame you become, and the more lie you tell. It look like lie is an antidote to your shame. It look like say lie is an antidote to the Prime Minister's shame. Because anytime they say Prime Minister you shame, you know say you get lies overload. But for those of you who may have just joined, listen to the propaganda that Andrew Holness is promoting on his social media page, which the Speaker, Orlando Terrelong, an attorney at law, knows that he's lying. He's misleading the blind JLP audience, the docile the tribal sleepers of the Jamaica Labour Party is bamboozled by Orlando Terrelong and the Prime Minister. So literally, we're asked the impossible. If the Prime Minister now not ashamed, the Prime Minister hugging can't look up. The Prime Minister a hug, him can't look up, him only see greed and power in front of him. Him only see greed and power in front of him. And this is why this Prime Minister, there is nothing that this Prime Minister can do that is good. Because this Prime Minister is blinded by power and greed. This Prime Minister is being blinded by personal power and greed. And because of that, this Prime Minister, if it's to save his life, he cannot speak the truth. Something wrong with Andrew Holness. I always ask the question, is it Andrew Holness one wicked thief and liar, or a whole heap of him a do it? The Prime Minister, though, is hell-bent on a third term. I ask you the question, though, Prime Minister, to lead us where to? Look where you have taken us to, Prime Minister. Talk truth now. Look the darkness that you have taken us into. You really wouldn't want to follow you in an AI generation with the whole heap of lies, gimmicks, camera trick, and whatever Andrew Holness can play with. Like, seriously, Prime Minister? And if we follow you, if Jamaica people want to follow you, they can't go on. But make sure when you reach a hell, you not check out in the hands if you draw no back because you did no won't go.
Go run. As the Prime Minister left down, they take them back the water. What kind of trick this? take down back the water. What kind of trick this?
They specialize in gimmicks.
Gimmicks government. A gimmicks-filled government. That's why you come to Parliament and you have an angry tirade for 3 hours. And then you have 2 hours of chewing buster. And then you walk away and call it budget. The most you give away was 20,000 here, 2,000 there, and so if you save up, you buy a Pro Box, and 1,000 there per minimum. That's all, you know. So that. Nothing else barring that. And look at the new lie being peddled by the Prime Minister of Jamaica, which they know to be a lie.
Portmore family, quick update in the court case. Major win for you, the people of Portmore, and a major win for the government. Today, the court has said no more injunction brought by the opposition to stop the process of Portmore becoming a parish. So I have always maintained that the government is acting in accordance with the Constitution and that the application by the PMP was just premature and but another desperate attempt for them to stop the process of Portmore becoming a parish because they are completely power hungry. So the government will continue with the process in keeping with the Constitution, and of course we look forward to the day when Portmore will become Jamaica's 15th.
All of that was a lie. All of what Alanda Terrelong just said is a lie. The Prime Minister, however, is promoting that on his Facebook page, deliberately and willfully misleading the people because they are embarrassed. Because the government, and Andrew shouldn't be embarrassed about this, to be honest with you, because from the time he was leader of the opposition, he regularly got slapped down by the Constitutional Court. This is just one of many, Andrew Holness. There's nothing really to be embarrassed about. It's the norm for you, Prime Minister, to violate the Constitution and have the court slap you back. So there's really nothing to be ashamed about. Isn't that what Andrew Holness does? There's nothing to be ashamed about, my friend. Don't try to do what you're not ashamed. You don't ashamed of something more you have, so don't try it. Try to be honest with the JLP supporters for once, Andrew Holness and your 40-odd thieves. Try to be honest with your supporters for once, because the argument you are peddling about the judgment in the Portmore case is a lie, is a lie, is a lie, is a lie. It's not true. Don't say it. Mr. Terrelong, Prime Minister, don't promote it. It's not true. You're pulling a wool over the already very dunce and docile Jamaica Labour Party supporters. Don't do it. Don't treat them that bad. They must be picking it too. They need to have understanding of the law. Don't let them go away walking away that you have won, knowing that it's not true. Don't do that to them, because you make them look embarrassed and fool when them come on social media, come tackle people, say, "On a win," and not no gossip. Don't do it to them. And only time when you throw them those straw to come out here and debate where uno no say nothing no go so, and you send them out here like the buffoon. To talk the only person thing them, we don't go so. Stop doing it to them. Uno no say them fool, and them a go talk, we not tell them say. Don't do that to them. They sound awful. That's why they always go into the SYM meltdown, the bad mind melt, the PNP, the this, the fins, because you're all lying to them. And you know, so they're fool and you know better, so them take it serious. Why not tell them so? Why not treat them so bad? Wanna take time with them. If wanna stop lying to them, I'm sure they will do better. But because they believe in the dopey story and the anarchy story we wanna tell them, then come in an AI generation talking about a narcissist story and dopey story. That's why they always go into that cultural JLP meltdown, because they don't have anything to talk to anyone about, barring the lies and misinformation that you peddled in front of them. Stop it, man. Andrew, stop it. You're making your supporters look very bad when you all come out here and peddle these lies in front of them, then expect them to come out there and defend the lies. Don't do it. Help them to grow, isn't it? Thank you all very much for being here with us on a Sunday morning. You know it's British daylight saving time now, so we'll have to tweak the times to keep you on the Eastern clock at your measurable remembered time. But thank you all very much for being here this morning. It was a masterclass presentation from Senator Crawford. Quite a fitting response to the 5 hours of tirade from the Prime Minister that to date, none of us really understand what he was really going on about. Thank you very much. No, me not go to church, me I go to park. Go to church, go make pastor lay hand for me and take my money out of my pocket, master. Not one bit. But a well-fitting presentation and response to 5 hours worth of tirade from the Prime Minister, which to date, none of us understand what tickled the Prime Minister fancy in that hours of tirade. I didn't do any big cooking today, you know, because today's a bit warm, so I didn't feel like having much to eat. So I'm just having fried fish and fresh salad, which I've already done. So I'm already fit to go to the park and enjoy the weather for the rest of the day. Sometimes I don't feel like eating heavily, so I just eat to what my mind tells me. So I'm just having fried fish and fresh salad today. Anyway, my people, a long time there anyway, never see there 2.5 hours we there out here from morning. We there out here from morning. We went right to Senator Crawford's excellent presentation, as well as we look at the lies peddled by Andrew Holness and Alonzo Terrelong in relation to the ruling on the Portmore Parish issue. Because everything Alonzo Terrelong says was a lie. And he showed that to their supporters for them to come out there and debate how they have won the case and all of that, not knowing that they have either been misled or deliberately been lied to by their political masters in order to come out a road and look totally embarrassed. But then again, it's the culture of the Jamaica Labour Party with lies, gimmicks, and thieving and criminality. Darrell Vaz! Good morning, Mr. Vaz. Have you yet condemned the killing of your friend, business partner, political ally, funder, donor, borrower, gas filler, supermarket, chusser, Darrell Vaz? I mean, your friend was murdered. Somebody who you had a punch up with, Darrell Vaz, over money. And I've heard Darrell Vaz came out speaking on other murders in the constituency of recent. But here comes Mr. Vaz's friend being brutally murdered. 80 spent shell, Mr. Vaz. which leads me to ask, who is Darrell Vaz's hitman? And did Darrell Vaz put out a hit on Samuel Dixon? And if Darrell Vaz has any information that would assist in the police investigation, we're still waiting to hear from Darrell Vaz. At least, Mr. Vaz, public sympathy or condemnation and the brutal slaying of your friend, political donor, and all that jazz. Mr. Vaz, thank you all very much for being here this morning on the Global Television Group. Lovely to have your support. And as Mr. JLP, just trouble me. Trouble me if you're not bad. I have 2 TikTok page ready to go again. TikTok just send, come tell me, invite me to go live. And 2 other TikTok page. JLP, you know, want to start again? Don't you want me to grow JLP supporters? Or do you want to stay and learn? Is another question. But trouble me. Trouble me, JLP supporters. Because I grow me on TikTok, you know. And look how me I beg on if you trouble me and not trouble me. I beg on JLP supporters. Just come trouble me. The more you repeat my page, the more page grow. See there? 2 up, 3 up and running. All 3 up and running here now. And 2 more. Women have the required amount of people pan. Them invite me to go live pan them there. Trouble me, JLP supporters. I beg you. Anyway, my people, thank you all. Have a lovely rest of your Sunday and enjoy your dinner. I'm starting to enjoy the British summertime. Thank you very much. Good morning and good afternoon from Global TV.
If you don't like missing out on the latest shows but still enjoy classic hits, then Global TV Group 358 is your perfect match. Global TV Group 358 isn't just another channel, it's your ultimate TV experience. From breaking news to binge-worthy dramas and timeless classics, we've got it all. Our unique blend of original content and global favorites means there's something for everyone. And guess what? With GTVG's seamless streaming, you can watch anywhere, anytime. Plus, our interactive features let you be part of the action. So, whether you're a seasoned binge watcher or a casual viewer, Global TV Group 358 is here to keep you entertained day and night. Don't just watch TV, experience it with Global TV Group 358. Subscribe now and never miss a moment.